G'day viewers, my name is Michael and welcome to Single Racer. And have you ever heard that expression, I've got a bit of good news and a bit of bad news? Well, unfortunately that's the story today, because finally the GT3 cars have dropped for Automobilista 2, although just in dribs and drabs at the moment. So if we take a look here, we not only have the Cup Porsches, so two Cup Porsches, a 4.0 litre and a 3.8 litre, but also a couple of the GT3 cars. Now, in the October update, which I can't show you, I couldn't show you because I was under an embargo before you all got the update yourselves. There was talk of two other cars, and I'm hoping that will drop in the full patch. But of course I've got the beta version that I'm showing you at the moment, and currently it's just showing the two cars. So if we select here, we've got the Mercedes-AMG GT3 and the GT3R Porsche, and of course we also have included now the Nürburgring GP 2020 version. Now the bad news comes because unfortunately I heard as part of that October update, or read it, that the Nordschleifer is going to be part of a paid DLC, unfortunately. Now, I don't personally know because they didn't mention whether the GP version that you see here is actually free. I'm not really sure because I get it because I've got the beta version. But I know for sure that unfortunately the bad news is that the Nordschleifer will be paid DLC, but apparently later on we'll get some classic versions of the Nordschleifer, which a lot of people have been praying for. And if you buy the DLC Nordschleifer, you will get those for free. They will be included, assuming you buy the DLC in the first place. So now let's check out the cars in a little bit more detail. And so first up we have the Mercedes-AMG GT3, and here she is in the showroom. But what I'm going to do is, because a lot of people are going to do videos probably doing races on the Nürburgring, so I've decided to do more just an overview, and I'll show you using VR inside the car and give you a bit more detail about the look and how it drives, so other people can do racing on the Nürburgring. So now let's go to the Porsche and have a closer look at it. And so here she is, the Porsche 911 GT3R, in that very, very well-known livery that most people are familiar with. And she's a beautiful car, that's for sure. So let's now go on track in VR, and I'll give you a closer look in more detail on both the inside and outside of each car. Okay folks, so let's have a look at the interior of this Mercedes-AMG GT3, and I have to say it looks quite spectacular in VR. Very simplistic for, a race car or road car, not much to it, but given that I have still the original Rift and a fairly average PC, this could look even better for those of you that are lucky enough to have high-end gear. But as I move over now, let's have a quick look at the outside as well. I love this particular livery there, and the way it highlights all the scoops and that big black air intake for the radiator. Incredible. But you still get, and I think it's more VR than actually blaming Project Cars 2, but that typical thing where, for now at least, you can't see the wheels or the big grille that's normally on the back, the back wing there, not the grille, the back wing I should say. But yeah, I think that's just a carryover of the VR engine, because you can certainly see it in 2D and in replay. So let's take it for a drive now as I get back into my VR position. I just had to make sure I didn't drift outside the camera there. So let's take it for a spin now. magnificent. And the first thing I have to say, being that this is still in the beta version, is of course I drove it around a few times for practice, and the thing I have to say is between the two cars, this and the Porsches, if you're a beginner, this is the car to drive. It's a lot easier, most likely due to all the weight being in the front there with the big massive engine, but also the steerings feels much lighter, like lighter as in comparison to the Porsche, and just much easier to control. I am used to driving sort of on the throttle where you steer it around like that, but where the back end goes out. But this has, I find, a beautiful pendulum effect. Now I'm not trying to drive too fast because, you know, I want to talk at the same time. But yeah, just a magnificent car to drive. And what I couldn't get over is, given that I am driving both beta cars, is just how good this felt out of the box. Like, it hasn't even really had much fine tuning yet, and just feels absolutely magnificent. Very controllable. Oh, just beautiful. So all you GT3 fans out there that have been so excited to get this, hopefully you'll be very impressed. I'm braking very early just because I'm concentrating more on the talking. Oh, but she just feels magnificent. I've got the sound turned down, of course, not to override the voice too much, but this is one thing that surprised me, was how sharp this is. Now, this is the 2020 version, so laser scan 2020, but it felt noticeably sharper to me than to what I'm used to in other versions. As we bring her around now. Now, by no means is this a hot lap, but just a bit of fun to show you each car. So what I'll do is I'll just park her down here. Let's say hello to the crowd there, and we'll park her up here, and we'll get into the Porsche and see what that's like. Okay folks, so now let's have a look at the arguably much more familiar Porsche GT3R. And I think it's more familiar, for one, you can get the phonetic wheel, which I'm gathering, I've never had it in my hand of course, so I'm gathering it looks very familiar to this. And you know, we have the typical Porsche interior that I'm sure we all know from the other Sims as well. Again, very simplistic, but a bit more detailed than the Mercedes. As I go to hop out, just trying to keep it in camera again, and again you can see the scoops there. You got the fuel pump there to get the fuel in it, and same thing again. You can't see the wheel or the well. Actually, there you go. You can see the rear wing on this one. So I assume that could get fixed on the Mercedes, you know, because that was fixed where I couldn't see the engine in the, I think it was the Lotus 49, the Formula Vintage. I couldn't originally see the engine, and then it got fixed. So now, let's get seated. We'll just reset it a bit and have a drive of this. And I noticed when comparing the two cars, I noticed three things here, and the first was, of course, you know, and it's the typical Porsche thing of being much more twitchy and unpredictable, nervous you might call it, as we try and get through that tight bit. Now again, this isn't going to be a hot lap because I'm too busy talking, but just my initial thoughts. But the second thing I noticed was the gears seem closer. It's probably not. It might just be a placebo thing, but just there, the more twitchy it is, it just, or it's the fact that it feels so nervous as I shockingly try and hold it together through here while talking. Trust me folks, my worst aspect is trying to talk and drive fast at the same time. But yeah, you can see it's just much more, I wouldn't say unstable, just nervous. Although, you know, for raw beginners it will be a hard car to drive. Shocking line through there. Yeah, but the third thing was, when I drove this the first time, it was at night and I had headphones on, and for those of you that have got headphones, or lucky enough to drive using headphones, the sound of the engine was sitting right in the back of my head. It was absolutely awesome. I'm actually almost spewing now. I'm driving just through my normal computer speakers, but sounded fantastic. And the gear linkage or the gear change, you could hear right behind your head as well. Just an awesome, oh geez, I'm mucking up this. Just ignore my driving because I'm not even trying properly. I'll do 2 laps without talking for the replay, just to show you what the car looks like properly instead of this disgusting effort. But oh, there we go. See, too nervous there. I'm not even focusing on driving properly, but it was more just to sort of explain the car. Now, one thing I heard too was I heard a rumour by, he's called the Nemesis 69 on Facebook, who does a lot of the servers on AMS2, and he was saying that a person you might know on race department called AC Fan, who does a lot of the sounds, has been employed or is you know, a sort of guest person within Reza, and could be changing a lot of the sounds, because apparently the sounds in Automobilista 2 have a lot more range to them, or the ability to improve the sound. So having him on board is definitely very exciting. And the last thing I want to show, given that this is the 2020 version of the track, is just those little touches that I noticed, like how good that looks there, the AMG Mercedes-Benz lounge room, shall we call it there, and even we've got the helicopter now being added. Just incredible as it comes into land. I think, is it going to land? Yes, it is. Oh, now what an absolute fluke that is, to actually get it landing. And then you've got the sort of the what looks like a roller coaster there or something. I don't know what that is, or a train maybe bringing passengers in. I got no idea, but it looks magnificent there. So as we see the helicopter landing there, let's and it's picking up passengers there, or the cameraman, and taking off again. Oh, that's magnificent. So just another incredible slight improvement that AMS2 is going to improve over time, and all these extra features. So let's hop back in the seat, and now I'll do 2 proper laps, because truly my driving was shocking, but I was more worried about what I wanted to say. So this is Michael signing out for Single Racer. I'll catch you next time. See you later, and let's go proper hot lap.